Hello Operations Management students, welcome to our virtual classroom. Dr. Z here, and I'm just going to record a narrated PowerPoint to cover Chapter 9 just like we would in class. In fact, there are chapter notes that you can download from Moodle, fill in the blank just like you would when you're in class. So Chapter 9 focuses on customer service management, which is an essential part of operations management. So our learning objectives are to describe how operations helps establish and meet commitments to customers, define elements and measurement of customer service, describe the model of customer satisfaction, explain the importance of commitment to customer success, describe technologies and relationships, and describe customer segmentation. To get us started, I have a little video about FedEx Logistics and how they use logistics to perform excellent customer service.
Typically, when people think about FedEx, small package delivery comes to mind. After all, the company delivers millions of them every day. But that's only part of their business offerings. FedEx has established itself as the #1 provider of expedited freight shipments. These freight shipments are large and/or heavy deliveries, which travel from point A to point B via the enormous FedEx air and ground network.
On a nightly basis, we do anywhere from 3,500 to 5,000 express skid shipments a night. It's a challenge for us because unlike when you have a huge product swell of small boxes or overnight letters, when you have a big product swell and it's a lot of different freight skids, all of a sudden you have to be able to move all that. And we do free flow all the freight through the system, so it takes a lot of planning, a lot of coordination, and it works very well. Express freight is treated exactly the same as any of our overnight express or express products. Let's say you want to be picked up here in Indianapolis and you want to move it to Los Angeles, for example. You make the phone call. Our express freight driver will go out and make the pickup, bring it back to this location or to the location where it originated. It would be built up on a pallet, very similar to what you see here, and then put on an aircraft to the destination city where the process would basically start all over again in reverse, where the pallet is broken down and put on a truck and delivered to the customer.
To qualify as freight, a package must weigh at least 151 pounds. It must be palletized, stackable, forklift-friendly, and shrink-wrapped or banded for stability. To ensure uniform cargo distribution, a skid should have a footprint no larger than 16 square feet and be no taller than 70 inches. The maximum weight for a standard freight package tops the scales at 2,200 pounds.
All airplanes have to have a specific center of gravity and have a specific weight limit to fly. And we're very, very cautious about that. We're very careful about making sure that we load the airplane the right way according to that specific aircraft. The whole process happens in a matter of 3 to 4 hours from start to finish. Basically, we guarantee the customer a specific pickup time, a specific delivery time, and then everything in between is the time we have the flyer drive the freight to us, sort it, and get it back out. Here's a perfect example of a what we call a cookie sheet or a pallet ready to be built up right here. This is a 96-inch pallet, and this will lock perfectly into the airplane just like a container does. And actually, if you look at the sides, these little holes are exactly where the nets tie into to lock the load to the pallet, and then the specific pallet will be slid into the aircraft and locked in a position where it locks on the floor. All the freight product we palletize because it's easier to build up freight when you can get at it from all 4 sides versus putting it into a container where you basically have one-sided access.
The FedEx hub in Indianapolis spans an impressive 360 acres and has 75 aircraft gates, enabling them to expedite their precious cargo at all hours.
About 100 aircraft that fly in and out of Indianapolis. FedEx is the largest all-cargo airline in the world and actually has the largest fleet of aircraft in the world.
Cutting-edge tracking technology and unmatched logistic capabilities allow FedEx to offer a special service called FedEx Custom Critical. It's an elite division that provides lightning-fast door-to-door service for urgent freight, valuable items, and hazardous goods.
When a customer needs to ship something, probably with some time constraints or some security constraints, they'll come to FedEx Custom Critical. Basically, the customer calls us, and our customer service agent in Ohio will take the information, the pieces, the weight, the commodity of the freight, the dimensions, ask the customer what time it's going to need to be picked up and what time it's going to need to be delivered. And they'll give them a price to the penny on the telephone and book the shipment for them. At which point, the dispatcher turns around and locates one of our trucks, much like the one you see behind me, to handle that freight. And again, we're going to pick it up from that shipper, take it directly on the ground to a delivery location, to the final consignee. Now, we've been doing this for many years. This started in the early 80s, so we've got much data to rely upon to figure out where the next emergency might come. We also have 5 different unit sizes, so from the small Econoline vans all the way up through a tractor trailer. So we have to figure out where to position this equipment across the United States and Canada in order to meet that customer's demand and pick it up within 90 minutes. We have some very sophisticated computer systems that really look back, and they look back at a year ago, they look back at a week ago, they look back at yesterday, and try and figure out where those freight trends are coming from. And we are pretty darned accurate at positioning trucks. We guarantee our customers that we're going to deliver on time. For most of the major markets in the United States, we'll pick up within 90 minutes of the time a customer calls. The way we do it is we have a fleet of independent contractors who own and operate their own trucks. All of those trucks are satellite equipped. So once a driver has made a pickup at a shipper, we monitor that truck as it moves down the road. Every single hour, and sometimes even more timely, we monitor that truck to know exactly where they are. We take the longitude and latitude location from the truck, put it back into our computer system, and calculate, based on the time for delivery, whether or not the truck is running on time. If in fact we find out that they are not running on time within a 15-minute window of the time we told the customer we're going to deliver, we automatically send a message to the truck asking them why they're running behind, and also to a dispatcher to make sure that we are keeping the customer up to date. At that point in time, that driver would let us know what's going on. Maybe they're stuck in a traffic jam. Maybe they've got into some construction. It could be a whole manner of things. But one of the things that we do is we are really communications experts. So when a customer hands us their freight, especially in this critical shipping environment, they expect that we are going to do what we say we're going to do. And we do.
FedEx is at the top of the freight game, thanks to a well-coordinated system that utilizes advanced technology, an unmatched depth of experience, and a vast fleet that can get cargo from pickup to destination in a flash, wherever that destination may be.
So now in your notes, I want you to jot down some things that you noticed from the video. And specifically, I want you to address what operation management processes and enhancements did you notice FedEx utilizing? Did you notice how they used pallets to standardize their loads? And not only were the loads standardized by size and weight, but they also had built-in mechanisms to lock that load into place in the plane. Also, he mentioned that they have designed their pallets so that they can be accessed from all 4 sides so that freight can be unloaded and loaded quickly. They track all of their freight. They use data to make decisions and predictions. Second question, what were examples of how FedEx provides customized customer service? Some examples were guaranteed pickup and delivery times, their custom critical division that had door-to-door pickup and delivery, centralized call center so that customers can call one number, but then the service is localized based on independent contractors who actually pick up the load within 90 minutes. They also mentioned that all of their trucks are satellite equipped, so they know where they're at all times. And also, they are communications experts. In other words, they notify the customer if they run into any delays so that the customer always knows what's going on. So customer management is the intense focus on understanding and providing customers with products and services they desire. There are 3 levels of customer management processing, from basic service level, customer satisfaction level, to the customer success level. And we'll unpack all 3 of these levels. The basic level starts with product availability. It's having products available when and where desired by the customer. And we're going to look at 3 different metrics that are used to measure product availability. The first is the unit fill rate, which is the percentage of ordered units delivered. So in this case, 19,500 units were delivered of the 20,000 units that were ordered, for a 97.5% unit fill rate. Now, is that good or bad? Well, it depends on historically what the company has done, and also industry standards and the expectations of the customer. So by itself, not a very valuable number. It's only valuable when it's compared to another number. Another metric that's used is the line fill rate, and that is the number of lines delivered on an order divided by the number of lines available. So in this case, we had 4,800 lines delivered of 5,000 lines available, 96% fill rate. Last is the order fill rate, which is the number of orders delivered divided by the number of orders processed. 910 over 1,000 is 91% order fill rate. A fill rate measures the impact of stockouts over time over multiple orders from multiple customers. This is not in your textbook, but this is a sample of a purchase order. So in the last example when we were computing fill rates, this would be an example of one order that has 5 lines, and then the quantity would be the number of units on the order. The lead time is the time between the start and end of an activity, and we have several different lead times. We could have lead time for design, and that's the time that it takes to take an idea, conceptualize it, design and test it. Order lead time, the time that it takes to place and schedule an order for production. Procurement, time it takes for us to source and obtain our inputs that we need to produce our good or service. Production lead time, the time from which we start until we end production. And then lastly, delivery lead time, the time it takes for us to warehouse and transport to our customer. Depending on the product or service that we produce, each market will have different orientations and different order to delivery lead times. For example, if we make large commercial buildings or custom built homes or rockets, those are engineered to order products which are designed and make to customer specifications. Make to order is where we make to customer demand from raw materials and components. So we don't produce until we have an order. Maybe we're a furniture manufacturer, a custom RV producer, or a printing company. We would not produce until we actually have the order. Assembled order is where we put together and assemble to customer demand from generic sub-assemblies. So think of Pizza Hut, Subway, Dell that makes laptops by assembling components. Make to stock is where we build in and stock in anticipation of demand. So think of food products, clothes, books, things that are produced in advance. This slide illustrates that lead time is greater for engineer to order or make to order items than it would be for make to stock items. I'm going to leave you with this problem, and what I want you to do is to calculate the unit, line, and order fill rates. So I'll let you work on it, and in the next video We'll walk through the answers.